This is a special day for all of us, and we're so thankful to be able to share it with you. I'm Craig Rosenberg. I'm the Chief of Monroe EMS, and again, welcome to our dedication ceremony and to our open house. Really excited to be joined by First Selectman Ken Kellogg. We have Representative Tony Scott, also Town Councilman Terry Rooney, who also chaired the building committee that played such a huge role in getting us to this point. I'd also like to welcome our fellow emergency services agencies from fire. Really appreciate you. We work awesome together and just a part of serving the community. So again, this is really an amazing day, and it was a long journey to get here. We're sitting here in a beautiful facility. This is a station that's going to help us meet the emergency medical needs of Monroe for many years to come. And as you tour later today, we hope you'll join us. We now have space for training, to keep up on our skills, to run community education classes. We now have bedroom, bathroom, and shower facilities, really for our 24/7 operations, so important to be here. And we have space for members to come together, to be ready to respond, to decompress and debrief after calls, and that's really meaningful for us as well. But today is more than about a building. It's actually about people. And first and foremost, it's about the 1,900 people in Monroe who call 911 every year for emergency medical help. And it's about the dedicated group of volunteers and staff who answer those calls. We're truly neighbors helping neighbors. That's our passion. And I'm so thankful to be volunteering in our new home with such an amazing and diverse group of volunteers focused on a common goal. So thank you to those folks. Today is also about the people who have invested so much to get us here. It's a long list of supporters. I would have to go on and on. But just suffice to say, on behalf of Monroe EMS, our sincere thanks go out to all of them. And along those lines, I'd actually like to start with recognizing a leader, a visionary, a mentor, and a friend. Monroe EMS Chief Don Smith passed away in July, as you know, after a courageous battle with cancer. This station that we're sitting in was his vision. It was something he just spent so much time and so much passion about. And I'm so glad he got to see that come to fruition. I truly know he is here with us today. Don invested countless hours ensuring that this station would meet our needs. He also invested countless hours in caring for thousands of patients, training new EMTs, and leading our operations. And as you've heard us say before, Don invested in all of us, and we're gonna pay that forward as we continue to serve all of you. So we're so thankful. I'm honored to have his wife Amy here, his sons Sean and Michael. Really appreciate you being here. You're always part of our EMS family. I know you know that. I'd also like to thank town leadership. Ken Kellogg, town council, so many departments, probably most of the departments in some way. Everyone from finance to DPW to buildings to planning and zoning to the fire marshal. Everyone came together to help us get here. This is an enormous project, and you'll hear more about this. And I can say on behalf of EMS, the town has always been just phenomenal in ensuring we have what we need. It's an ever-changing, dynamic landscape. We all lived through COVID, just all the things that were required. We were never without support, and that really is what helps us show up every day. So thank you for that. And then a special thanks to Terry Rooney and the EMS Building Committee. We talk about us being volunteers and spending a lot of time, same thing on that committee. You know, the expertise, the financial due diligence, the many volunteer hours you put in, really appreciated, so critical to getting us here today. And this project was complex in its own right? You know, a lot of stuff going on here, and you'll see more. But doing that through COVID, through supply chain issues, through changing costs, right? An ever-changing plan, I think that made it even more challenging to navigate. And your passion and the building committee's passion to doing this right from the start is just so appreciative. We also got to know the folks who did a lot of the construction work and the design. So architect Brian Humes, Burlington Construction, all of the contractors. I'd like to thank them not only for the high quality work, but one thing you may not know is we operated out of here throughout the entire construction project. And think about doing all this construction, the demolition, all of the site work, and still running 24/7 out of here. So Really appreciate them working around us. It required a lot of flexibility. I'm almost done, I promise. I'd also like to call out, where's Bella? Bella Medeiros, wave your hand. So Bella's, what we're experiencing today is Bella's vision. She took a lead role in planning this whole event today, enormous amount of time on top of responding to calls and being a volunteer here, and I really appreciate it, so thank you, Bella. Give you Finally, I'd like to thank all of you, the community, our neighbors. Your support matters so much to us. Those of you that are close by, I appreciate you putting up with our dust. We know that required some flexibility, but you are why we show up every day. And along those lines, I'd like to extend an offer to join us, to be part of this amazing team. This is a team that impacts people's lives every single day. We're starting an EMT class October 3rd. We still have some space available. You're going to get to meet some of our volunteers today and get a tour and see what we do, and we'd encourage you to chat us up, and we'd love to get you signed up. We can get your signatures really quick. So again, with that, thank you so much. I'd like to turn it over to First Selectman Ken Kellogg for some words. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Very well said, Craig. I echo the thanks to everyone here in the room. Everyone here. I see so many town officials that had a part of this, and I truly thank you for all that you've done. In particular, I want to express a lot of thanks to our town council. Shauna Work is here on our town council, as well as Terry Rooney on council, and the Board of Finance. Without their support, this would not have happened. And obviously to the voters of Monroe, who also approved this project at a town meeting. I want to also, in addition to recognizing our state rep, Tony Scott, and for his support and leadership, I also want to recognize someone who couldn't be here today, but was very involved in this from the beginning, and that was our former state rep, J.P. Straczynski. He had a family engagement today, but he would have loved to be here. Through JP's work at the state legislature, we got a $500,000 steep grant that offset a significant amount of the cost of this project, and that was something that he worked really hard to get for us. So I want to acknowledge him as well. And sorry, I just noticed Councilmember Dee Dee Martin is here as well. So I was recognizing council members before. I didn't see you there earlier. Sorry, Dee Dee. So that said, the biggest thanks really goes out, however, to the volunteers here today. From all of our emergency services, but especially here today, emergency medical services, because that's what today is about. This building and this facility, this addition and renovation is for you and for our community, because you deserve to have good working space to respond out of, to do, to be prepared, to train our community, and we need to help you so that you can do the best for our citizens and our visitors here in Monroe. And this investment in Monroe EMS is truly an investment in our entire community. But I really want to thank all the volunteers for what you do. I've said this before, I'll say it again, for all the emergency services. I'm so grateful for people that will, go out, most of you volunteers, to help a stranger most of the time in need and in a situation that is frequently could be dangerous, unknown, chaotic, and take control of that situation and help someone, which might be someone who is experiencing perhaps the worst day of their lives. And you come and you help. So thank you. I want to give special thanks to the EMS Building Committee. But before I do that, I wanted to point out Mr. Dennis Condon, who's sitting here, because Dennis was on a prior committee, an EMS feasibility study that we did many years ago to basically prove that this was feasible and possible. And I want to thank you for your help in bringing this, because that was part of getting to where we are here today. But the EMS building committee was the group of volunteers with everyone's help here as well got this done. Our chairman of our EMS commission, John Brenna, I know was on that as well, and I thank you, John, for your leadership. But I wanted to introduce the chairman of that building committee to recognize the rest of his committee and say a few words, Terry Rudy.
Thank you very much, Ken. Thank you everybody for coming on this rainy day. I see a lot of town officials. I see a lot of people that have been very involved in the construction of this building. Thank you to the EMS. You guys do things every day that go unnoticed. We watch TV and we know the name of a celebrity, but we don't know your name after you saved our life. And we thank you for that. This building, it's for you. I just want to talk a little bit about this project and the amount of energy it took from the building committee. I see Mr. Westland is here, Mr. Brett is here, some people couldn't make it. It was a very big undertaking to try to keep things within budget during COVID, material delays. This was not an easy task. Every meeting had an outcome, and every meeting we didn't waste anybody's time. It was critical to make decisions every time that we got together. But I think we got a pretty good result. And I hope every one of you enjoys this building, and I hope you're happy with it. Thank you, Ken, for your ongoing support with this building, because we know that sometimes these construction projects can get out of hand, and having the right due diligence was very important, and having the support from command was very big. And also, you know, this is a perfect example of what we do for grant money. You know, J.P. Straczynski secured a $500,000 grant for this building, and that was very helpful in our budget. So, without boring you with a big, long speech, thank you for trusting me, all of you on this project. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. So, one thing that's tradition in any, whether it's a new building or a significant renovation, we typically have a building plaque that is placed somewhere prominently in the building to recognize the leadership of the town and the building committee who worked so hard to put that together. Unfortunately, the plaque isn't ready yet. Another victim of supply chain, whatever, right? So, through the help of Terry, we were able to get a banner to show you what the plaque will look like when it is delivered. So we're going to show that in a little minute, but before we do that, you know, Terry and I have had a lot of conversations about this, and one of the things that I really want to make sure that we do before we go any further is recognize another individual who couldn't be here today, who, as Craig said, was so important to the vision of seeing this facility, and that was Don Smith. So before we go on, I would like to ask his wife Amy and his kids Sean and Michael to come up here with me, because I'd like to present something to you on behalf of the town. This is a proclamation. I want to read it for you. Okay. Whereas Donald Don Edwin Smith III was a member of Monroe Volunteer Emergency Medical Service for 22 years, including serving as its chief over the last 12 years. And whereas during his service, Don brought to our community his training, skills, and experience from multiple emergency service agencies and disciplines. And whereas Don was a strong advocate for both his patients and our emergency medical services personnel. And whereas Don was a driving force in the vision of providing significant facility improvements for Monroe Volunteer Emergency Medical Service. And whereas Don's leadership and contributions to the Emergency Medical Services Facility Project was fundamental in the successful completion of these improvements, which include a new training room, day room, office space, kitchen, and sleeping quarters. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize Don's dedication and service to Monroe Volunteer Emergency Medical Service. Now, therefore, I, Kenneth M. Kellogg, First Selectman of the Town of Monroe, Connecticut, do hereby proclaim that Monroe's Emergency Medical Service Headquarters shall be dedicated to the memory of Chief Donald E. Smith III.
Greg, do you want to man the microphone or something? You ready?
With that, I guess let's cut a ribbon. Okay. All right, I need members of the building committee, the EMS commission, Lisa, Craig, come on up here. Leadership of EMS, where's your... Behind you, yeah, let's go. All right. You guys got your pictures. Once I cut it, it's too late. All right. Who wants to do the countdown?
3, 2, 1.
All right, well, thanks so much, everyone. We do hope you stick around a little bit. We have some refreshments are off in the day room, which is through the door to your right. We have some activities in the training room, the door through the left, things like hands-only CPR, learn a little bit about what we do. In the conference room, which is towards the front, you could meet some of our crews. If you're interested in joining, talk a little bit about what that's like, what the class is like, and then some activities for the kids or those young at heart, like John wanted to color soon. So, so again, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you and hope you stick around, and we'll also do some tours too. So thank you.